So once again last night, the Dallas Cowboys went out there and lost to yet another team with a winning record, something they found to be very common this year, and the eyes have been on Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett deserving to have this job or deserving to be fired right now, right here. But the thing is, you look at Garrett, he's had one losing season in 10 years as a coach, but he's only had 2 playoff wins in those 10 years. And I completely see why people are looking at saying he needs to be fired. He's had coaching issues. Jerry Jones was happily, went out there and happily said like, hey, we lost that game last week, not this game, but the game last week due to coaching. He let it be known that coaching was the problem. He wanted to make sure that message was sent, but he made that message clear at the beginning of the year. He's like, you got 1 year left in his contract. You prove yourself and we'll sign you to an extension. Something Jerry's, giving Garrett the chance to do right here. And I think for that reason, again, you can't fire this guy right now. I don't think he needs to be the coach of the Cowboys in the future if they can't get out of the first or second round of the playoffs this year. But when you consider a coaching change, teams that make coaching changes typically are teams that do it when they're, they're 0-8 or they're 2-10 or they're 4-7 and they're out of playoffs. They don't expect to make playoffs that year. The problem with firing Jason Garrett right now, they have 4 games left in the year. You fire Garrett now with 4 games left. You bring in a new coach now, assumingly it's going to be a guy within the system, but you fire that guy now and you got to go and, these players are going to go learn that system, learn what he wants to do. Or at the same time, they're not going to change the system and they're going to continue doing what they're doing. And at the same time, you're essentially getting what Jason was going to give you. I think you can't fire him because there's 4 games left. You consider every other team that's going to be in the playoffs. They've just played 16 games. They're ready to go. They have their identity found. Meanwhile, you're going to have the Cowboys who would have a brand new coach 4 games in, searching for that identity, something you don't want to be doing in playoffs. You're just going to get walked all over. I think you give Garrett this final, you give him the final 4 games. This team's got players under contract. Big name players, they're mainly them offensive players they're worried about under contract for 4 or 5 more years. The window's not closing this year. It's not like they have to win now or they're not going to win again. This team is still built to have a solid future. I think you go out there and you give Garrett his last chance. You see what happens. It doesn't work out. You find a new coach next year, and that's all you do.